Death, rebirth, and transformation are the major themes of November. With the sun spending most of its time in the sign of Scorpio this month, it's no surprise that we're all being forced to confront endings in order to have glorious new beginnings. For you, Aries, there is a serious emphasis on your 8th house of transformation. So more so than any other sign, you guys are probably feeling this transformation energy the most. Although transformation is very uncomfortable, it's really necessary in order to get us to where we want to be. If there are any endings in your life, particularly with soulmates, it's because certain soul contracts have expired and they've run their course. But on the other side is a brand new life, a brand new beginning, and an opportunity to really meet up with your tribe in a way that you've never been able to do before. Are you ready for this transformation, Aries? All right, let's go. What's up, Aries? I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. As always, my name is Mel and welcome to my channel, Divine Feminine Works. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, Aries, this is going to be the astro forecast and taroscope for the month of November 2020. Just like every other month in the year of 2020, November is intense. I feel like intense is the key word for 2020. I mean, I'm not saying anything new here. I think we can all agree on that. But particularly with November, we have a powerful conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn, Mars finally going direct, a very interesting and intense new moon in Scorpio, and we end the month on a very big note with a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. So again, there's a lot going on this month, a lot of intensity, but it's nothing we can't handle. If we've been able to get through 2020 thus far, I think we'll be good. We're not out of the woods completely yet. I think that will come in the beginning of 2021, but for now, just try to ride the wave, do your best, and try to stay focused and on task, right? All right, so Aries, how is November looking for you guys? So you guys have an emphasis on your 8th house this month, and the 8th house is a little complex, right? The 8th house covers a lot of things that seemingly make no sense, but encompasses a lot. So the 8th house is all about intimacy, it's about sex, it's about death, it's about rebirth, it's about taxes, inheritances, mortgages, shared resources. It's like power struggles. All of this stuff is covered under the 8th house. And this is where the emphasis is going to be for you for the month of November. You know, the sun is in the sign of Scorpio for majority of November, and Scorpio in itself is an intense sign. Scorpio is really about things that are hidden, things that are mysterious, the occult, power struggles, and deep emotions. You know, a lot of people forget that Scorpio is actually a water sign, and water represents emotions, it represents psychic abilities, it represents nurturing, and Scorpio is a feminine sign. So it's there's this mystery surrounding the 8th house, but apart from that, there's also this energy of wanting to get to the truth of the matter. There's this energy of diving deep below the surface and really addressing things that we would rather not. I mean, if you think about the topic of death, a lot of people shy away from it. A lot of people just give death this negative connotation. And, you know, at some point in our lives, we all experience death on some level, whether it's death to someone that we know, someone that we're close to, or even our own deaths. But death is not something to be feared. It's not something to ignore. Death is part of the life cycle, and it's really about transformation. And I feel like this particular Scorpio season, that is one of the major themes, this theme of death, this theme of endings, because it is with those endings that we usher in new beginnings. New beginnings, a lot of times, cannot happen without some sort of death. Whether it be a physical death, or whether it be an emotional death, a mental death, some sort of ending. And these endings make room for new things in our life. The things that we want, the things that we want to see in our life, manifest in our life and experience, a lot of times they're not happening for us because there's old things around us that are taking up space that these new things could occupy. A lot of times we have to grow into the person we need to be in order to have those things. And certain things may be standing in the way of that. And those things need to die. Things need to be eradicated from our lives. And I feel like Scorpio season this year has really been heavy with that theme of endings, that theme of death, that theme of traversing the underworld in order to find what it is that we need, what it is that we want, and to make room for our desires to manifest in our lives. I think that is the ultimate theme of November. And for you, because this is happening in your 8th house, which is the house of Scorpio, where all of this stuff happens, I feel like you guys are feeling this energy the most. Whether it's transformation on a personal level, or whether it's just taking a look at how transformation is happening generally around you, I feel like that's how this is playing out for you, Aries. There's a lot that is transforming for all of us. Right? We are all experiencing transformation on a very grand scale. And I feel like the month of November just has you really looking at this with a magnifying glass and really taking a look at how you're transforming and how those people around you are transforming as well. Again, y'all have this heavy 8th house energy this month. You've got the sun in Scorpio, right? Which is your 8th house. You have the new moon, which happened in Scorpio. You've got Mercury in Scorpio. Plus, you've got Venus getting ready to transit into Scorpio by the end of the month. So there's 4 planets in your 8th house. And a lot of you may be undergoing this transformation. You may be discovering what life really means and how things really play out in life with relationships, with yourself. Y'all may be experiencing a very profound death and rebirth at this very moment, given this 8th house energy. I also feel like a lot of you are delving into, a lot of you are just really sort of investigating a lot of things. I feel like anything that you encounter, anything that you are involved in this month, I feel like you're just like, what's really going on? What is this really? You really want to get to the heart of things, the truth of things, regardless of what it is in your life. But I feel like that's sort of how that's playing out for you, Aries. All right, so let's get into the astrology of November and see how things are playing out for you. So one of the major happenings in November is this powerful conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. If you guys have watched any of my videos over the last couple of months, I've been talking about this great conjunction. And the great conjunction is Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto all conjunct in the sign of Capricorn. This energy, these 3 planets occupying the same space, mingling energies and sort of, just really just mixing all of their energies together, is partly what's to blame for a lot of the chaos and turmoil that we've been experiencing as a society as a whole. It's also playing out in our personal lives depending on where this great conjunction is located in your chart. For you, Aries, this is in your 10th house of career and public life. So since about the end of 2017, I feel like your career, your public life, your station in life, your status, your reputation, all of that stuff has been changing dramatically. And you've been experiencing a sort of death and rebirth in that area of your life as well. So I feel like a lot of you have been transforming personally on the inside and like on the outside as well when it comes to your career and public life. So Jupiter and Pluto conjunct is the theme of that conjunction is hidden treasure. I want you guys to take, for example, diamonds. So diamonds, they're beautiful. They're formed of earth matter. So before a diamond is formed, it's really just coal and other minerals that are just lying around, right? Things that we may not deem as truly valuable, things that just seemed like dirt and dust, and things that, we'd rather not engage with, right? But you pressurize those, and over time a diamond is formed, and a diamond is beautiful. It's full of value. It's luxurious. It's something that we place a lot of value on, right? So finding that diamond, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. It's like you have all of this dirt, and then in the midst of it is this diamond, right? You can also think of pearls, and how pearls are actually formed from the grit and grime within the clam. Is it a clam or something? One of these is how pearls are formed, but they're formed from grit and irritation. And you open this clam and all of a sudden you have this beautiful pearl, right? That is the theme of this conjunction of Pluto and Jupiter. You will find your treasure. You will find your abundance. You will find your good fortune in a place where you wouldn't likely expect, amidst garbage, amidst amidst things that don't have much value. It's also about finding your hidden treasure in the underworld. If you look at the zodiac wheel as a whole, right, it's almost fashioned after ancient Egyptian mythology. And in ancient Egyptian mythology, the sun would rise in the east and sets in the west. But before the sun rises in the east again the next day, it traverses the underworld. So when we experience night, when we experience darkness, the sun is actually making its way through the underworld. And that's sort of what we are being called to do during Scorpio season. We have to face those things that are frightening, that are scary, that are our own underworld. Our underworld may be repressed emotions. It may be things that are not of our highest good. It may be people, places, or things that are just scary, frightening, mysterious, that hold a lot of negative energy. We need to traverse that. We need to face that, address it, process it, and release it so that we can be born anew the next morning. We can rise again and continue this trip, right? Continue this orbit. That is what Scorpio season is all about. And that is where you're going to find your hidden treasure. That's where you're going to find your good fortune, by doing that shadow work, by addressing and facing your shadow self or a shadow situation or a shadow relationship. That is where you're going to find your hidden treasure and good fortune. And that is what this particular conjunction of Pluto and Jupiter is all about. And that's happening in your 10th house of career and public life. There may be things about your public life, there may be things about your career, your station in life that need to be addressed. The ugly sides of that, the ugly sides of your career, the ugly sides of your reputation, all of that needs to be examined, Aries. And that is where you're going to find your good fortune. That information that you gain from traversing the underworld is going to lead to a bright new beginning. So that's what happened back on November 12th. And that energy is still available to us throughout the month. The following day on November 13th, we had Mars going direct in the sign of Aries, your sign, your home sign. I'm sorry, your first house sign, your sign of self. Mars is in its home sign of Aries, so the energy of Mars was very potent. But Mars has been retrograde since September. So now that Mars has finally gone direct, Mars can move forward, can be energetic, can have that drive, ambition, stamina and endurance in order to get things done. For you, Aries, being that this is in your first house of self, this is the time to work on improving yourself, to start new things in your life, to work on new personal goals, whether they be related to your outlook in life, whether they be related to your physical body. Now is the time to get things going and hit the ground running. So keep that in mind. It all has to do with self, because this is taking place in your first house of self. Moving right along, we have that new moon in Scorpio. And like I said, new moons are all about new beginnings. It's about planting new seeds. It's about the beginning of the lunation cycle. But being that this new moon is in the sign of Scorpio during Scorpio season, this new moon was more so about endings than new beginnings. It's those endings that we need to acknowledge. It's those endings that we need to facilitate in our lives in order to have that new beginning. I'm going to put a link to my new moon in Scorpio video up top so you can check that out and get more information about that new moon. Now, typically they say that, the moons, like the full moon and the new moon, the energy usually lasts for about 3 days before and 3 days after. But I feel like the energy of this new moon is lasting much longer. Me personally, I started feeling the energy of that new moon like a week and a half before it came. And I'm still feeling the energy of it now. And we're almost like a week out from that new moon. So I feel like this energy is really available to us for the month of November. So again, check out that video so you can learn all about it. All right, moving right along. Then on the 21st, this coming weekend, we have the sun moving into the sign of Sagittarius. For you, Aries, that's going to take some of the emphasis of your 8th house that you've really been feeling during Scorpio season. And it's going to start to shift your consciousness towards your 9th house. And your 9th house covers higher education, long distance travel, adventure, broadening your horizons, learning things such as philosophy, religion, law, things of that nature. So once the sun moves into Sagittarius, I feel like you guys are going to want to expand. You guys are going to want to learn new things. You guys may want to travel or start making plans to travel. It's like you're going to want to explore and broaden your horizons. That's all once once the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius come November 21st. And I'll get more into that when I get into my Sagittarius season videos next month, but I just want to give you that heads up so you know what to expect. That same day on the 21st, we have Venus moving into your 8th house. Again, there's this 8th house emphasis for you this month. So when it comes to your relationships, you guys are going to want the real deal. It's more than just superficiality. And I feel like this is something that you guys are going to learn while Venus is in Scorpio. I feel like you're going to learn what it means to have intimacy, real intimacy, relationships, how those play out. And it's almost like your relationships are going to be put to the test. Are they real and authentic, or are they superficial and just cute, right? Like just for shits and giggles. That is what Venus and Scorpio was going to teach you. It's going to make you see the real you and the real person that you are attached to or are dealing with. It's going to put your relationships to the test. But ultimately, that's a good thing, because don't we all want real relationships? Superficial relationships are good for a time, but relationships that last are really, the foundation is based in truth and realness and vulnerability, particularly emotional vulnerability. And I feel like this is what you guys are going to learn and experience once Venus moves into the sign of Scorpio. And then finally, as I mentioned before, we have that full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini happening on the last day of November, November 30th. It's like ending the month on a high note with a bang, because eclipses, particularly full moon eclipses, are like full moons on steroids. Full moons do one of two things. They either show us the culmination of work that was done in the past. Like if you had, let's say you had a project that you were working on at the time of the new moon, by the time of the full moon, that's when you see the results of that work. Or full moons shed light on things that have been in the dark. So they uncover things that have been hidden. The thing with eclipses is that eclipses do this in a very big way. Really, eclipses are like the universe's way of rearranging things in our lives, taking out things that need to go and bringing in things that need to stay. New moon solar eclipses tend to eclipse things in. So they bring things into your life that need to stay and that need to manifest and develop. Whereas full moon lunar eclipses eclipse things out, and they take things out that no longer serve us or are roadblocks to where we're trying to go. Which is a good thing, because a lot of times it's difficult for us to do these things on our own. Especially when it comes to getting rid of things that we no longer need or no longer serve us. A lot of times it's hard to do that. So Spirit is like, you know what? At least twice a year, I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to clean house and rearrange things so that things can be the way that they need to be in your life. And for you, Aries, this full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your third house of Gemini, your house of communication, your house of siblings, extended family members, your immediate vicinity, and your neighborhood. It's also the house of mental activity. So I feel like your way of thinking may be changing. Ideas and the way that you communicate with people, particular siblings, neighbors, extended family members, is going to be up for review with this full moon lunar eclipse. I also feel like it's going to have your mental activities really like racing, you know, and certain things are going to be eradicated from your life. Perhaps it's time to move. Perhaps it's time to pay attention to what's going on in your immediate neighborhood. Third house also deals with skills and techniques. So there may be some skills that you're going to be made aware of during this full moon lunar eclipse. Whatever it is, it's going to happen in a big way. And a lot of times there's really nothing to do during eclipses. Ancient civilizations used to actually fear eclipses for the sheer power that they exude. And a lot of people in the spiritual community will say that during eclipses, you shouldn't do any like moon rituals. So being that this is going to be a full moon, you may not want to do any banishing. You may not want to do any releasing because the energy is so crazy. Me personally, I like to let eclipses just pass and like really observe what's going on. Like really just watch, sit back and watch at what happens, what comes into my awareness, because that will give me a clue as to what needs to go or what needs to stay or what next steps I need to take. And I feel like that's pretty good advice. So I would say just ride out the eclipse and see what's what and what comes to your awareness, and that'll clue you into where you need to go and what you need to do. All right, Aries, so that is basically the astrology for November. If you would like to know more and more details about the astrology of this month, I'm going to put the link below in the description box to the November 2020 horoscopes. It gives you detailed information on the transits. It gives you information about the month in general and about your ruling planet. So it really gives you a comprehensive view of November, more so than what I was just talking about right now. And you can also read for your sun, moon, and rising. So again, I'll leave that link in the description box below. So check that out and learn all about November. All right, so now that we've gotten the astrology out of the way, let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for you this month. All right, when I was praying and shuffling the cards were coming out so easy. There was this element and like energy of ease, or like easing into something. And I want to see if that plays out in the cards, but there's a certain level of easiness that you guys may be experiencing this month, or maybe you're just going to be easing into something. But let's get into the cards and see what's what. Okay. First card out is Wait. You know how I was saying, particularly with the full moon lunar eclipse, it's just like sit back and observe. That's what I'm getting with this card. Before taking any action, right? And if we're talking about action, we're talking about Mars. With Mars being in your first house, it's like you just want to get up and go. You want to start brand new. You want to start things, initiate things. You really, for some of you, it may be cutting people off, or it may be just cutting certain things in your life. Like you guys are very action oriented and you guys really want to get to work. But Spirit is saying that you need to wait. I feel like for the rest of this month, like it may be best to not take any actions, at least until after the eclipse has passed. I feel like for some of you, that's very important, is to just wait, observe and wait. Oh, this is cute. All right. All right, Aries, we've got soulmates. All right. This is a 4 and a 5, a 4 and a 1, which reduces to a 5, right? 5 is all about change. For some of you, I feel like Now keep in mind, soulmates are not just romantic partners. Although it looks like romance with this particular card, soulmates are about people who need to be in your life, people that you have a contract with. I feel like this is directly related to this 8th house energy that you are experiencing this month, because it's all about relationships and the realness of it, particularly once Venus moves into your 8th house. There's something that Spirit needs to show you. There's something that you need to see regarding soulmates and regarding people that you have this soul contract with. I think that's why you're also being guided to wait. There's something to see here. There's something to learn. And it's underneath the surface. If we're talking about underneath the surface, we're talking about Scorpio. And Scorpio dives deep, gets deep and intense, gets to the heart of the matter. There's something, that sort of energy is being is being applied to a soulmate relationship in your life. And that's why you're being guided to wait, because there's more to see and there's more to experience. All right. We've got happiness. I am aware that being happy means I am on the right path. This is nice. This is good energy. I feel like like I said before, with eclipses and how eclipses move things around in your life, right? I feel like you need to let Spirit do that. And then when the dust settles, you're going to have some good energy available to you, especially when it comes to soulmates. That's probably where that easing in comes in, or easing into it. Once the dust settles and once Spirit moves things around where they need to be, it's like things are going to come so easy and flow to you. Doesn't this look like a whirlpool almost? You've got these dolphins swimming in this. There's this, you have to go with the flow, Aries. Let Spirit do its thing. Let it rearrange what needs to be rearranged. And then you're just going to like ease into it. Okay. We've got communication. 33, which reduces to a 6. That's the number of relationships. It's also the number of Venus. And Venus is about to transit into your 8th house. Intimacy requires vulnerability and honest and open communication. I think that's one of the things that you're learning during Scorpio season. By developing that skill, right? And I feel like it doesn't have to do with just romantic partners. I think it has to do with anyone that you relate to, anyone that you're in a relationship with, whether it's work, whether it's friendship, whether it's family. Open and honest communication is what's required. And for you, Aries, I feel like with Venus entering your 8th house, it's this energy of communicating. It's almost like bearing your soul. And it's like not just talking about superficial things, but really getting to the heart of the matter. Talking about things that you would rather not. Having those hard conversations. But that's what ultimately is going to lead to your happiness. By knowing the real truth about things. Isn't that always better? It's not to say that this is the difference between the truth and a lie. But when you're vulnerable, when you really let someone in, that's where you can have that's when you can experience real love. Some people view that as a dangerous thing because that's also how you can control people. And if we're talking about control, we're also talking about Pluto and Scorpio, with all of this being in your 8th house. That's where you can really control someone, because now you know who they really are. You know what makes them tick. You know what buttons to push. I'm not even going to get into all that because that's not what the focus of this is. The focus of this is that you need to talk about those things and put all your cards on the table, even if you'd rather not. It's about being vulnerable and not worrying so much about someone controlling you or you controlling someone else. But it's in order to have, and I feel like that's how you're going to recognize soulmate relationships, because that's how soulmates operate. Soulmates operate on a very deep level, on a soul level. That's how you communicate. I'm also hearing some of you are going to be communicating like telepathically. Scorpio is also a very psychic sign. And I feel like some of you are going to learn different ways of communication. It's almost that intuitive psychic communication that soulmates have. I feel like that's going to happen for a lot of you. And it's going to, I'm not going to say it's going to freak some of you out, but you guys aren't used to that. You guys aren't used to that. But get ready, because I feel like that is a skill, right? Remember I talked about the full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 3rd house. And that covers skills and techniques. I feel like one of the skills and techniques that's going to come to your awareness is this intuitive psychic ability, particularly as it relates to soulmates. All right. We've got interference. And you notice how there's this like ripple effect, almost like when you drop a pebble into a pond and how it has those ripples. It's interference, but not in a bad way. It's spirit interfering in order to rearrange things in your life. It's like this amplification. It's like, because wherever you drop the pebble, if you drop the pebble right here, these ripples have such an amplifying effect. They can cause major, major waves. This 8th house energy that you're dealing with this month, and that has an emphasis for you, Aries, it's going to make waves throughout your entire life and all around you. This transformation is from the inside out, and it's going to be felt in almost every area of your life. Yeah, it's this spiritual interference that's a good thing. It's not interference to block you. It's interference that's going to help you expand. Oh, like I said, we have the clover. The clover is all about good luck and good fortune. You guys have some really fortunate energy. Either you're experiencing it now or it's soon to come. Particularly with this Pluto and Jupiter conjunction. A lot of you are going to experience this in your public life, in your career. But I really feel like, especially like I was talking about before with this interference and this ripple effect, it's not just going to be limited to one area of your life. I feel like overall, you're going to feel this energy all throughout different areas of your life. All right, let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has. Okay, this is too many. What other messages Spirit has for Aries for November 2020. Okay, we've got the 2 of Wands. Remember I was talking before about the diamond in the rough and the pearl in the clam? That pearl, look at how this is being represented. It's the world. Like the world is it, sorry, it's not clams, it's oysters that, I don't know my shellfish. I'm actually allergic to shellfish, so I don't pay attention to any of that. But the world is your oyster. That is where you're going to find your treasure. Whatever treasure, this transformation that you're undergoing, it's like you're going to be sitting on top of the world. That is going to be your pearl. Interesting. All right, let's get some more cards out here. We've got the God of Wands. So far, we've got a lot of fire energy, which makes sense given that you guys are the first fire sign. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. All right. Again, this is sort of like this pearl I was just talking about. Seven of Wands. Seven of Pentacles. And the Hanged Man. Remember how that very first card we got was Wait. This is that Hangman energy. The Hangman is like, I need you to chill for a bit. Because there's things I need to show you. There's things that you need to see and experience in order to have this enlightenment. This is you undergoing this transformation. The Hangman is almost like the caterpillar when it forms that chrysalis, when it's in the chrysalis. before it becomes a butterfly. That's why you're being urged to wait, because this transformation is taking time. Right now is not the time for action, Aries. Right now is the time to just sit and observe. You've got some great energy available to you. And I see that it's almost like stop and smell the roses, right? See how she's just smelling this. This isn't a rose bush, but it's a flowering bush. Stop and appreciate what you have. I feel like this is talking about having gratitude for what you currently have. Being appreciative of what you've developed in your life. Aries, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to being vulnerable, you need to stop being so defensive. Stop being so defensive with your heart. Not everyone is out to get you. Not everyone is out to control you. It's within this vulnerability. It's speaking your truth and putting all your cards on the table and diving underneath the surface. That is how you're going to call in this soulmate. I feel like without doing that, without being vulnerable, I feel like you guys may have soulmates around you, but you're not going to know that they're your soulmate. You're not going to be able to fully enjoy those relationships because you're in this defensive kind of energy. It's almost like you have to leave that behind. See how she's sort of walking away from this? That's what you have to walk away from that defensiveness. Some of you, this soulmate may be another fire sign. So maybe another Aries or a Leo or Sagittarius. But someone who is like as passionate as you are. Let's see. What's at the bottom of the deck? Oh. Can you see that? Death. 8th house. You are undergoing a personal transformation. There are certain things around you, certain aspects of your life that are really dying right now in order to be reborn. So whatever is ending, whatever is crumbling, whatever has ended or crumbled, let it. Let it. Don't be defensive. If something needs to go in your life, don't try so hard to hold on to it. You guys are very passionate, so you guys do everything passionately and with vigor. You've got to walk away and let things die because it's part of the process. And it's where you're going to have this happy ending. It's where you're going to have this transformation that's going to have you sitting on top of the world. All right, let's get some more cards out here. Let's get one on this God of Wands. I want to know who this is, or what this is, I should say. This is the Tower. So there could be an ending related to this God of Wands, this King of Wands, this fire sign. Let's get another one on here because I'm nosy. I want to see what this really is on this Tower and this King of Wands. What is this? An official person. Okay, what I'm hearing for some of you is that you had or you have a person in your life who is a soulmate, right? This could be a partner, being that this is an official person. This could be someone that you were married to, someone that you had as an intimate partner, and that relationship is crumbling. But it has to. You have to experience this death in order to be reborn. Your contract with that person has ended. And contrary to what many of you have heard, soul contracts are not forever. Soul contracts sometimes are merely for a season in order to give us certain lessons, in order to get us through a certain time in our lives. And I feel like Aries, your soul contract with this fire sign, they may not even be a fire sign. They just may be someone who is passionate, someone who is energetic, but it really could be another Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. Your soul contract with this person is ending. So you guys may be breaking up, you guys may be separating, you guys may have a falling out. If this is a friend, you guys may have a falling out or something like that. It's ending. But it's giving birth to this new beginning. So someone is going to come in their place. Like I said, Spirit, especially with these eclipses, Spirit is going to be moving things around. That's also why you have to wait. That's also why you have to wait. It's like the cast of characters is changing, is what I'm hearing. Right? And you need to just develop yourself, undergo that personal transformation, do your own shadow work while Spirit is moving things around, while Spirit is ending things, while new things are beginning. Just don't fight it. Don't fight it. And be appreciative for what this person has deposited into your life. Even though that soul contract is ending, I feel like there have been certain gems, certain jewels that you gained and learned during your contract with this person. So stop and appreciate that. Appreciate that for what it is, and then move on. Move on. All right. Let's get one on this Two of Wands. We've got the Queen of Cauldrons. This is the Queen of Cups. And we've got the Three of Swords. So there could have been this situation with this person. It could be ending and it's causing a lot of heartbreak. Or if this is an intimate partner, they may have betrayed you or you betrayed them. Take it as it resonates. And that's part of what this ending is about. But it's also about going in a new direction. There are certain gems that you learned, not only from your soul contract with this person, but from this ending as well. That is where your jewels are. That's where your pearl is. Learning the lessons from this ending and being receptive to what Spirit has in store for you. Just sitting and receiving. Also knowing your worth as well. All right. Let's get one on this Ace of Pentacles. I want to know what this new fortunate opportunity is. It's very fortunate with the presence of this Clover card here. It's lucky. It's fortunate. Let's see what it is though. We've got the Five of Shields. So there's something that's been lacking in your life. You've been feeling out in the cold when it comes to something, and Spirit is going to give you whatever it is that you've been lacking, is what I'm hearing. For some of you, it could be financial assistance. Others of you, it could be like a gift. Someone helping you out. But whatever it is, it's going to be fortunate. So whatever is ending right now, let it. Whoever needs to leave your life, whatever relationship has to die, let it. Because Spirit is going to give you something in return. Whatever you're lacking, whatever you're missing, that void is going to be filled. Let's get one on this Hanged Man and see if there's any information about this transformation and this time of waiting. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is about nurturing. It's almost like you're examining your worth. You're examining these things, these seeds that have been planted. It's almost like this transformation is going to have you examining these things on a deep level. The things, whatever's transpired in this relationship over the years, the seeds that have been planting, that's what you're going to be examining one by one during this time of waiting. While Spirit is rearranging things, it's time for you to examine all of these things one by one. And nurture yourself through this process. Because even though you had all of these when you were with this person, and it's almost like all of these, they're not going to be taken away, but they're no longer going to be relevant because this soul contract has ended. But Spirit is going to make you whole again. But you've got to examine what each of these pentacles are. These lessons that you have learned, these things you've gained while you were engaged in this soul contract with someone. It's time for you to examine these things one by one while you're in this waiting period. But trust and believe, whatever leaves your life is going to come back. It's not going to come back in the same way. It's not like you're going to have a rekindling with this person. Whoever this soulmate is and whatever this soul contract is that's ending, it's ending for good. There's no coming back from it. There's no rekindling it. Whatever you're going to receive is going to be someone new, something new. But that void that old person is leaving is going to be filled. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Three of Cups. This is all about celebration. Some of you may have had like one soul contract in the past. I feel like now you're going to have more. It's like you're going to find your tribe. You're going to find the people that really resonate with you on a deep and authentic level. Like I said, whatever is coming is very fortunate. Very fortunate. All right, Aries, let's get 3 astrology cards to close out this reading. First card, look at this. Can't even make this up. Pluto, transformation, death and rebirth. That's the theme for this month. Whatever's dying, let it, because you're undergoing a profound transformation. We've got 11th house. 11th house is friendship. This card says friendship, group, creativity, community, humanity, hope, tribe. Tribe. Didn't I say you are going to find your tribe? Enough said. I don't need to elaborate on that. And let's get one last card to close out this reading. Again, you cannot make this up. 8th house. The emphasis of November for you guys is the 8th house. And this card says intimacy. It's that vulnerability. You're not going to have your tribe if you're still not willing to face the things that you'd rather not face. If you're still not willing to be vulnerable. If you look at this card, everyone here is naked. Everyone here is their authentic self. There's no hiding. No one here is masked. No one here is cloaked. Everyone is their authentic selves down to the studs. This is how you have to be. This is that vulnerability that you are learning this month. It's that vulnerability that's going to attract your tribe to you and other soul mates to you effortlessly, which is going to allow you to ease into it. All right, Aries, that has been your astro forecast and tarot scope for the month of November. I sincerely hope that you guys were able to get at least one important message from this reading. If you would like to book a personal reading with me or order an astrology report, I'm going to put the links to those down below. So click on those so you can schedule or order. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. Every week I do a series called The Week Ahead where I do a quick and dirty tarot read as well as a quick and dirty astro forecast for the upcoming week. I'll include that link in the description box below so you can click on it, follow me there, and not miss out on any of that good stuff. As always, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight from the bottom of my heart. Aries, if you feel so inclined and would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, and trust and believe tips are always appreciated around here, I'll leave that link in the description box as well so you can click on that and check that out. Aries, as always, it is a privilege and an honor to read for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.